guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily live. Des here, of course. Ready for another go at your questions, looking to answer them the best I can. Got a couple to go at. Seem to be running related today. That's not a problem, is it? That's all good stuff. It's essentially what do running is. Of course, we do look at different activities these days and getting involved in different ways. More than just a running club is one of the hashtags we like to use, and so much more than that. So of course, it's always a good topic to talk about. Most of the people who get involved tend to enjoy their running, but whilst it is about running, it relates into other things as well, and that's what's really important to remember, that everybody can take something from DOdaily. It's just honest, relatable chat, nothing too technical, nothing too scientific. Just my thoughts and opinions. Not done too much research today. Not done any, to be honest. I feel I can answer the questions with what I think. So I appreciate all those that have got involved, all those that have offered some feedback to the appeals I've put out there for that. You know, it's always good to get that, and I'm really appreciative as ever. Without that, Thursday thoughts wouldn't be what it is. I'll just start like I always do. Gasping at the fact it's been another week, ticked over, sat here every Thursday. It races around so quickly, doesn't it? And looking outside, the weather's really picking up, whilst everybody seems to be really busy, I'm no different. Trying to get those things we enjoy, trying to get in those things we enjoy is so important as well, aren't there? The weather's giving us much more opportunity to do that. Of course, the lessening of restrictions is as well. So that's a great place to start, isn't it? Last week's throwback, basically, was what have you done since lockdown restrictions eased that you've really enjoyed? And the reason I kind of asked this is because of that feel-good feeling since the announcements were made, the weather picking up, all the things we spoke about that are creating a bit of positivity. The chance of getting back to some sort of normality. If you watch the news and the TV, the figures, the dreaded figures for coronavirus are coming down day by day, aren't they? And it's always great to see, and the vaccinations, the number of those taking place are going up. So that's fantastic, isn't it? And whilst I've sort of had an indifferent few weeks, still there, still feeling the pressure of that, and the pressure of work on top of that, and the pressure of doing this, that, and the other, and meeting expectations and all those things we have to do sort of day in, day out. We have to just find ways to be positive. I feel like over the last 12 months, I've found the knack of that. I mentioned a lot on Wednesday workout yesterday how it's okay to be worried and concerned and upset about one thing, but try whenever possible to be positive and dedicated and committed as well, and that's what's really important, isn't it? So some of these things have definitely given us a chance to be positive again, and that's all we can be. That's all we have to be, and the more we can convince ourselves, if it is a case of that, it's better than thinking the alternative, isn't it? I mentioned yesterday about preserving positivity. A word one or two picked up on. So it's just a great way of looking at it, isn't it? Just try and stay in the best frame of mind possible. I've managed to do a couple of things in response to this question. I've managed to do a couple of things this week, but more than the restrictions, I probably enjoyed the weather as much as anything, being able to get out there. I mentioned last week and a few weeks before, I wasn't in a rush to get to the pub, but myself and Kay, we rather spontaneously decided on Saturday that we was going to go for a walk, and if we could get into a pub, we was going to have a drink. It was a lovely afternoon, the sun was out, and we had a walk around where we live. Fortunately, we managed to squeeze into one of them. We got turned away from a few. We can't complain. We took that decision. We made that for ourselves, and we only had one drink anyway, but whilst we had it, it was really, really nice, and we managed to do that. Put some jeans on, put a nice shirt on again, something I'd not done for a while. So just making the most of it. Nothing big, nothing. We was back within an hour, back on the sofa watching football, but it just added that bit of something. And again, it's just that sort of sense of normality just returning. Whilst I was there, whilst we was taking part in this walk and trying to find somewhere to get a drink, we did encounter that most places were fully booked. Like I say, it would have been easy to be frustrated, but we took that chance. So it's important just to remember it's not quite back to normal yet, but just taking that sort of opportunity was great. On top of that, Kay responded by saying she really enjoyed having her haircut. She'd been looking forward to that for a while, and she decided to go back to swimming this week. Something she's not done for a while. She really enjoys it, so she got up and went for a swim. Really, really enjoyed that. She was in such a great mood. Again, it's activity, so I won't discourage that. And right now, she's actually on her way to Brownies. She should be listening in. She's a Brown now, so she's really looking forward to seeing the girls again. It's been over a year since they've been able to do that in person, but today they can meet up. They're outside, but it's something she's been really looking forward to, and I'm sure that'll be quite emotional when she gets there, and she'll really enjoy what she does. I know she loves it at the best of times, so having gone so long without it, it's definitely something to put her in a good frame of mind. Davna was another who said she was looking forward to her haircut this week. Dawn says she's really enjoyed the fact she's been able to sit in the back garden at her mum's house. Someone she's not seen something she's not been able to do for such a long time. And again, it's put her in great spirits because it's something that she gets so much from. I'm sure we all do. The chance to meet more people, meet family, not be as selective on who we meet and when we meet them. That's a great thing, isn't it? I know in the last couple of weeks I've had a chance to meet so many more that I've not caught up with in such a long time, and I'll be doing that again over the weekend. So that's definitely a plus point. Ben said that it's not quite what he's been able to do since lockdown, nothing to do with that, but he really enjoyed completing his streak of half marathons and getting up on Saturday morning, knowing he didn't have to do it. Whilst he didn't have to do that, he ran with a friend who was completing it. He did a few laps of a circuit a friend was doing to complete a marathon attempt. So again, just that opportunity to meet people, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And Dan said he got to the coast for a few days, got to sort of see some of the places and enjoy some of the things out at the coast. Whilst again, it's restricted on what you can do whilst you're there, and it's all about being outdoors. That's what the coast is, isn't it? The coast is about being outdoors. Personally, I'm going to the coast in a couple of weeks, just over a week or so, so I'm really looking forward to that. Again, just to get in plenty of walks and runs in different places. I'm always here to encourage activity and try and inspire people to use different things, so I'll definitely be doing that week. That's important to me. And for you guys, just the reason for sort of going through those was just to sort of remind people that there's lots of things out there, isn't there, that we're getting so much from. Again, don't take them for granted. Please don't get back to where we were a years, a year or so ago. We took all those things for granted. We did them without thinking, and now they feel like little luxuries all of a sudden. And why shouldn't they? These are the things we live for. Life's not very complicated. I mentioned yesterday, I'm just trying to be an ordinary person, doing ordinary things, saying ordinary things, and when I'm doing this, when I'm doing my walking, my running, there's nothing unique about it. But it's something I love. It's what I absolutely sort of adore doing. And what pulls me out of a slump, what makes me positive? Why would I do the things that make me feel rubbish? I want to do the things that make me feel positive. Sometimes, for example, with the pub, I feel the anxiety creeping the day after. It makes me tired, leads on to all those sort of bad decisions. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because it's really not. Sometimes it's absolutely fantastic, but trying to sort of maximize everything I can, particularly whilst I'm not feeling fantastic about everything going on around me. It's important to use some of those things, and that's what I thought that might achieve. Just knowing other people are doing things you've done, things you can kind of share the enjoyment of and take forward, and look forward to even more. in a couple of weeks, the restrictions will loosen yet again. And then a few weeks after that, hopefully, we're completely out of lockdown. And how good would that be to come through it all unscathed? Lots of people out there who are not that fortunate. Lots of people have lost their lives. Lots of people have lost loved ones. And lots of people are in that situation for other reasons as well. So we just have to sort of be the best we can, and be positive for ourselves and those around us. Moving into the questions. Like I say, I really appreciate all these. It's what makes it work. It's what keeps me thinking, keeps me going. And talking about that weather and getting away, I mentioned I'm going to sort of use the conditions, hopefully, use the seaside, use the fresh air to really sort of mix it up a little bit. Something I really enjoyed this time last year, getting out to the coast. Not this time last year, but a couple of times last year, because normally we might go abroad, we might do something a bit different, but really got that sort of hunger to go to the coast back. But like I say, more than anything, what's really making me positive right now is the warmer conditions. And Ben asked, what would you advise for adjusting to running in the warmer conditions? He added to that, sometimes in the morning it can be particularly cold, and then later on in the day it gets warmer, so it can be hard to judge the weather. Absolutely, the mornings are particularly cold. I was out first thing today, 7 o'clock, just a short walk, just a couple of miles to start getting them steps up. Touched on that on Wednesday workout, that I need to get those in a little bit earlier, and it was absolutely freezing. I couldn't believe how cold it was, but that's kind of a consequence of the warm weather at this time of year, isn't it? With a lack of cloud cover in the evening, it makes for a big dip in the temperatures and the occasional frost. So it's important to consider, because it would have been easy to look out the window. I think we spoke about a similar subject a couple of weeks ago. One of the first things I'd do is check the weather. Whilst I was out, I saw a few people out and they looked absolutely freezing. And Kay said to me, "Oh, they're young people. You go out without checking the temperatures." I'd almost suggest as well, just testing it out for a few minutes. What's wrong with opening the door, feeling how cold it is, dressing yourself accordingly? What I will say, one of the things you can do, because it does get warmer as the day progresses, if you are going out a bit later in the day, is almost just sort of dress to a point where standing still, it might be a little bit chilly, not cold, but it might just feel that chill, because we're all going to heat up. Exercise makes us do that. So you might just sort of dress a little less than you would if you were just standing still, or perhaps walking if you're running. Wear layers, things that you can easily take off. That's a good one. Things that you can remove. So jackets, perhaps looser tops, things you can and just whip off whilst you're going, and perhaps tie around your waist or hold. Things like that. As the summer starts to really pick up, consider taking a drink. Consider the time of day you run. Right now it's cold in the morning, but in the sort of depth of summer, it's going to be really warm in the middle of the day, and probably cool enough to run without it being cold in the mornings or in the evenings. So that's something to consider. As the sun starts dropping, it can be a lot easier to get out there and do it. Between sort of 12 and 5 in deep summer, it can be really hard and stifling. So there's lots of things you can do. Of course, if it is particularly sunny, wear light clothes. The black sort of attracts things. And just sort of think about what you're doing. I know when it's cold in the morning, and if you're running in the morning and then it gets really warm, the one thing I'd sort of really adhere to is thinking about perhaps just running in a t-shirt or a light top, knowing full well what I'm going to how I'm going to heat up and sweat. So there's a bit to go out there. If you've got any ideas, please comment below. There's lots more we can sort of add to that. And as the temperatures do improve over the next couple of weeks, probably we'll talk about that a lot more and return to some of the things we've discussed before. Another idea might be to drop your distance if you're running longer. It might be really hard to get it all in one run. Even if you're training for big events, you might want to break that down into 3 or 4 different activities. That I know some people do that throughout the summer as well. So it's just about sort of listening to your body a lot. We all adapt to the cold and the weather differently. So as ever with running or activity, it's not one size fits all. It's about doing whatever you need to do, but just being aware of what the temperatures are, dressing in layers that you can easily remove, taking water if it's a longer run or if it's particularly warm, and also taking a break here and there, walking. It's not a bad thing, is it? If you need to sort of get your breath back, if the heat's really getting to you, it'd be worth just taking it easy. They always say it's when it's really hot, it's not PB conditions. And just bear that in mind as some of your training runs as well. So hopefully you've got a few ideas there. Thanks for the question, Ben. Question 2, do you ever return to where you've set a PB and feel emotional? This is from Dawn. I know that Dawn set a 10k PB last night, and she asked me this because she kind of went past it today and says it felt really good again. It reminded her of what she'd done. Well done on the PB first of all, but I think the point in what you're saying there, Dawn, is the fact it's still fresh in the memory. It's still something to be extremely proud of. Whilst I'd like to say it's not all about times and things like that. It's not all about times all the time, but when you achieve something, when you work hard to do it, when you purposely want to improve what you're doing, it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? And what I will say is allow yourself just to revel in it. It doesn't matter if it was yesterday or a month ago or 2 years ago. Remember the occasion. Remember it for what it's for. What I will say as well is, we tend to experience certain things in certain places. I remember having a shocker at the back end of one of my half marathons. Whilst I'd done well in that event, I kind of hit the wall. And whenever I run in that part of Nottingham now, it really, really affects me. There's certain places I really enjoy running where I probably feel comfortable and get a lot from it, and just feel like I can attack it and tackle it, and that's important just to sort of remember why. I'm always talking about evaluating why it works, why it doesn't work. If you can draw inspiration from a great run in a certain location, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you sort of remember it fondly and take it forward with you? The important thing is to really sort of revel in it whichever way you can. And if there is those places where it doesn't quite work out, just let it make you more determined. You need to crack it. You need to do it. I've done a bit of coaching in the last couple of weeks with a handful of the guys, and when I feel they don't, some of it's been hill training and interval sessions, and when there's a hill that I feel that they don't master, we go back and do it again, because I feel like we need to sort of get the monkey off our back, and really sort of get over it, and know we can do anything by achieving it when it's not quite worked out the first time. If it does work out the first time, all the better. We've done that one, ticked it off, and we move on to something else. So like I say, just keep reveling it, keep enjoying it. That's what it's about, isn't it? It's about finding achievement, whether that's a PB or whether it's consistency of running a streak, or whether it's just getting out there in the first place. Not everybody is in the same place. The one thing I say about activity, the reason I've expanded do running from just running to other things is because people get different things from it. People get so much from being part of a community, part of a group, so just keep sort of using whatever inspires you. Thanks for the question. I thought that was a really good one too. And question 3, what effort level, relative pace should I aim for? That should say for a long marathon, for the long marathon training runs. This is from Kay. Of course, I've mentioned a few times, myself and Kay, we're training for the Manchester Marathon. She's absolutely flying at the moment. Last couple of months, been really sort of hitting it hard. She won't mind me saying she's lost a lot of weight. She's got a lot of PBs herself and feeling that enjoyment. But just like myself, she mentioned just feeling a bit tired right now. Of course, I was knocked back by my injury from my own personal running streak. but I was feeling tired, and ultimately that's what made me have a rest. Just about getting back into it, just about feeling my way back in again. But what I've done since, I used to always go out and run as quick as I can, get it done, get through it, try and get all those achievements in one go, try and build the streak, all these things. But I'm just learning now to take the pace off a little bit. When I need a rest, I need a rest, while I'm quite stubborn and determined. And I want all those big achievements, I'm also looking at the long game, I'm looking at the long-term plan to try and get through marathons. And it's reading up on what I do, learning more and more all the time, watching others, going off my own bad experiences at times. I've learned that you just have to take the pace off. And in terms of sort of effort level, the answer you get from all the experts is you need to be doing your training runs, particularly your longer training runs, about 80%. So if you run an 8-minute mile, you'll be doing about 10-minute miles for most of your training runs. Like I say, particularly the longer ones. If you're doing a 10-minute, it's going to be about just over 12, isn't it? Because it's about getting the distance in, building the strength in your legs, building your own stamina, building your fitness levels. Everybody thinks it's about getting through it as quick as you can. That'll come on the day. The adrenaline, the pace will pick up through having the crowd and the thought of doing something epic and reaping in all the rewards of the good training. You don't have to do that every time you go out. It's what you do when nobody's watching that's going to really pay off on the day. Hopefully on the day people can watch you achieve something great. But the reality is you'll hear a lot of coaches talk about just taking it back to sort of 5K. If you want to run a fast 5K, run slower, or run more 5Ks. That's the case. Sometimes you have to sort of just build up to a point where you've got all that sort of fitness, the stamina and the dedication to push on. Sometimes, when you're doing that day in, day out, you're going to tire a lot quicker. What you need to almost do is make it a choice when you want to push on, when you want to give it a real go. And believe me, sometimes when you sort of churning it out, you haven't got a choice. It's just a case of keep churning it out, and that's not always a bad thing. You can pick up injuries as well. The faster you go, the harder you push, you're more likely to pick up injuries. So it's important to sometimes take the pace off. You don't want to sort of push too much. I might have been a little bit guilty of that. I didn't think I was, but I did a half marathon. I followed it up with a couple of quick runs. After I'd not done that distance for such a long time, and then did a 10-mile run the week after, which gave me a niggling hamstring injury, which ultimately led to me being tired and made me stop running for a few weeks. So I'm not trying to tell you that I never get it wrong, but I'm learning all the time how I can get it right. So if you can take anything from that, Kay, that'll be great. If anybody's got anything to add, please add it to the comments below. I'd be interested to hear how you go about it, what your plans are in terms of marathon training. There's lots of plans out there. I used to run as fast as I could for as far as I could and just build up that way and think, well, I know best. That the reality is I don't. I've got to work to some kind of plan, some structure, and of course take the pace off a little bit when I need to, which is probably as we get deep into marathon training, which is probably most of the time. There's no point sort of trying to smash your 5K PB on a Saturday and then go out and run 16, 20 miles on a Sunday as quick as you can as well, because it's just not going to work. You need to sort of select what's important. With a lot of races at the end of the year, I've already said it. We all like to go out there on race day and put in real big effort and push on and achieve great things. But with so many in close proximity over a short space of time, I'm not sure that's going to be possible. I know in a space of about 6 weeks, I've got 4 big events. So some of them, probably the ones I've not done before, I'm going to try to take it in a bit more. Always been a little bit guilty of not taking race day in, and getting to the end and being absolutely dead on my feet. So what I'm going to do, like I say, if I've not been there, I can always go back again. I'll have a time on the board. hopefully just work them into the training plan, rather than think this is PB time today. The ones I've not done, I'll probably just work into the training plan, post a relatively decent time, and then go back in one day and try and sort of beat it. That's what us sort of runners and people who are into this kind of thing do. So that's going to be important for me. So like I say, if you take something from that, or if you've got any tips, please add to the comments below. And that's the questions for today, guys. Of course, like I said, there was a lot there about running. It's what we do. It's what lots of people in the do running community do. But it's just about approaching things right, isn't it? It's about applying yourself, doing what you need to do. All those questions are about application, really, and using what works. What works for you, and that's all I talk about all week long is what works. Doing DOdaily, taking myself out of my comfort zone, answering your questions, trying to pass on information works for me. It doesn't matter anymore if people watch it or don't. I know a few people watch it, so that really does matter, and I'm extremely grateful for those. But it's something I want to do to sort of improve myself. It gives me focus throughout the day, and that's all we need to do is use all these things to give us a bit of focus. All I'm talking about throughout this whole episode is being positive, doing things properly, doing things to set us up for when we can go to these big races, for when the pandemic's over, for when we can do what the hell we like. And that's all we're striving for, isn't it? I said on one of the episodes this week, if you're somebody who complains or don't want to sort of get involved in things or gets fed up at things because of COVID, you're probably going to get fed up with things all the time, because that's just the way it is. COVID affects us all. It affects us all in the same way. Affects us in different ways as well, but it affects us in many of the same ways, and we all have to sort of live it, experience it. And like I say, there's a lot of people who've had to suffer out there. If we're in a position where we've got through to this point, we can think about winning events, we can think about being positive. We've not done too bad, have we? We've not done that bad out the situation if it's not affected us with loss of loved ones and family and things like that. Of course, next week, if you could email your questions in, I'd really appreciate that for next week's episode. I'll be back at 6 p.m. to answer what you've got. I really love to keep receiving your questions, guys. It takes 2 minutes to jot something down. You must have a thought at some point throughout the week. It's like trying to get blood out of a stone, this one. But if you can get involved, I'd really love you to just comment on any of the videos. Comment on this video. It's so easy to just ask me a question, something that's been nagging away at you. It doesn't have to be about running. It doesn't have to be about activity, about absolutely anything. All I'm trying to be is honest and relatable, sharing some information that gets me through. It might just help you. I know I listen to people. I listen to YouTube videos. I listen to friends. I pick up off social media what other people are doing, and it really changes my outlook. And that's all I'm trying to sort of do, rather than be miserable and sad and beat myself up about things I can't control. I'm just trying to be really positive. So if you've got absolutely anything to ask, please post it in. You'll see all the links to the social media scrolling across the bottom. It'll be great if you can comment on any of the posts throughout the week. Check us out on Instagram at DOdaily 2020. There's a small preview each morning, a post where I let everybody know what the theme is today. So if you can get involved in that, that would be absolutely fantastic. The throwback I'm going to leave you with today, again, I'd love the feedback. Please comment as soon as you watch this video. It will take you 2 seconds. Tell us about your favourite race or activity PB. I'm sure I won't struggle to get a response to this. Everybody loves sharing their achievements. Tell us what the PB was, where it was, why it sticks out to you. I'll tell you mine. Really enjoyed the Great North Run a few years ago. Everything went right. The only time I've ever run a consistent sub 8 minute mile all the way through a half marathon, and it getting to the end was absolutely fantastic. I think it was 1 hour 47. I'm not the fastest runner in the world. I'm not trying to tell you things that are impossible. I had to work really hard for that. But getting it was an amazing day. The red arrows flew over just as I finished. They flew over me whilst I was on the Tyne Bridge. All the iconic shots, it just made it absolutely fantastic. So wherever you got yours, race or activity or something you did that you're really, really proud of, I'd love to hear about it, love to hear the story. Perhaps I could read a few of those out next week to inspire people to look forward to their upcoming events. Keep working hard and keep training hard, keep trying to be positive. And when the setbacks happen, it can just be the pick me up we need sometimes, hearing how somebody else achieved as well. When you put yourself out, it always feels fantastic. So that's the throwback question, guys. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow with Wake Up to Walk. I'll be continuing my journey along the Robin Hood Trail, leg 4, I think. So I'm looking forward to picking that up, seeing what that's got in store. Last week, I really, really enjoyed it. I was expecting it just to be a bit of a straightforward walk, not much to see, but I found a view, and it really made my Friday. I'll of course be explaining why I do it and some of the things we've chatted about this week, some of the things I've spoke about, and having a bit of a reflect on that before we really attack the weekend with the positivity created by getting up early and getting active. And that's what it's all about, guys. Keep getting the activity in, keep posting on the Do Running Facebook group. I encourage people to post in all their achievements. It's absolutely fantastic when they do. It's brilliant to see, and it takes some of the pressure off me as well. So keep posting those in, keep posting comments. I'd love to hear what you're doing, and like I say, tune in the morning. There's potentially a nice hook up with that. So I'm really excited about a couple of things surrounding DOdaily and potential sort of linking it into a few other things. So I'm really grateful for those who do watch, those who get behind what I do, and keep me feeling positive and excited to get on every day. So until the morning, enjoy your evening, make the most of this amazing weather whilst it lasts. Like I said, the thing that's definitely put me in the best frame of mind I can be right now. So till then, just doing it.